Evening. Good evening, guys. Back again. Another day, another dollar, another live stream. This stuff I want to get into. I did do a video on it last night. It's just more about Lineker, just exposing the little twerp for just kind of the fake. You know, where do you start this guy? Fake, sanctimonious, see-through, little twerp that he is. I was wanting to get into more of that. See how we are for numbers. But I'll do what I usually do: get the link out on social media. Just a moment. Do, 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 do. Gary Lineker, what a piece of work, hey? Beautiful in every way. He's someone else, though, isn't he? And I really feel they should just be done with him. Just be done with him. Just bloody, find someone new. I even said it before. Jermaine Genius could replace him tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned. Football related news, though. I'm just looking. West Ham are close to agreeing the loan signing of Calvin Phillips. Well, best of luck. Best of luck to the lad. We get more of a game, and he'll enjoy himself. A lot of options, for a guy that was essentially a bench warmer at Man City. This Calvin Phillips. Pep kind of humiliating the guy last season, saying he was overweight, and this woke culture we live in, the way. But a footballer slightly overweight, and I think of all the so-called talented footballers who were, I guess, quote unquote, overweight back in the day, but they were still banging them in and still, just naturally gifted, talented footballers. I was fortunate. I did have the ability. I could run. That was one thing I had in my arsenal. I was defender, actually. I was a centre back. Um, Ryan Jack, who plays for Rangers, I did play centre back alongside him once or twice. He's went on to do some really good things. So he plays for his boyhood team, Rangers. He always was a Rangers fan. He may have lied in an interview with a program in Aberdeen and claimed that he was a Dons fan his whole life, but no, he was a Rangers fan. I get that's how it is. It's PR. It's is what it is. You don't want to alienate the local fans. I get that, but he was always a Hun, though. As a good friend of mine once said, he was a Hun loving bastard. This guy was at our school. He was a Rangers fan. He always just would say out of nowhere, "I Hun loving bastard," and we'd always crack up at that. That was some good shit. That was funny. But I want to get into slagging Gary Lineker, though, because there's always shits and giggles with this dude, right? Joe Cassie, there, mate. Holla, holla, if you hear me. But this stuff with Lineker, though, I like laying into Lineker. It's like, what a dick, eh? Always up on that high horse, eh? But with these fuckers, though, we got to bring them down a peg or two, right? We've got to bring them down a peg or two. So, someone's saying, is Robbie Williams one of the worst lyricists ever? I don't think so. I don't think so. What was that song again he was saying about? But was it all we ever wanted was to look good naked, hope that someone would take it, Like, metaphorically, he would be speaking there. He won't be speaking literally. But I don't know, man. Robbie Williams isn't too bad. He's probably underrated as terms, for performers. I don't mind him too much. What you see is what you get with Robbie Williams. Why can't more people be like that? Sleeve, an open book. People are good at creating an impression of what they want to show the world that they are, but that's not always who they really are, though. Reputation is who people think you are. Character, who you really are, though. We'll see how we are with numbers. I gave a shout out to Maureen Cara and Tony as well. See how they can hop on at some point. Just a moment. Right. Okay. So then this stuff then with Gary Lineker, I'd done a video on it. I uploaded a video last night. So this stuff with Gary Lineker. So the Daily Mail reported back on this. This was at late November time, 2022. So the Daily Mail reported that pocketed a whopping 1.6 million. This was over the course of 4 years, so 400 grand a year, working for Qatar state broadcaster as he fronted Champions League coverage over 4 years. And if you remember, on the opening match of the tournament, did not see the usual traditional presentation that would air on TV. We actually, Gary Lineker is doing this virtue signaling monologue, like it was so much pain that he was over there doing it, that it was almost like he begrudgingly went over to do the coverage of the World Cup in Qatar. But the thing was, though, that back in August 2012, Lineker had done a new deal with that Doha-based broadcaster. And this was 20 months, though. Remember this, 20 months after the controversial decision to hand Qatar the World Cup. It was a controversial decision at the time, yep. There was a bit of a backlash there. Not quite the backlash I think you would get today, but I do remember it being a bit of a backlash. And I think it was just kind of the thing of random, kind of like, what the hell, Qatar of all countries are getting it? Qatar, who've, like, usually it's a country that performs in the World Cup, that does well. I mean, you even had 2010 South Africa who did it. And they've, been in the first round before the World Cup. And it was maybe a bit annoying as fuck at that World Cup, all the bloody vuvuzelas all the bloody time. But, South Africa, fair enough. But Qatar is not really known as a football nation, though. And, South Africa's for sports, you take rugby, you take tennis, golf. But Qatar was just a bit of a head scratcher, wasn't it? Well, not really, though. We know what all this is about, all the corruption and Sepp Blatter and all that stuff. We all know what the deal is. But it came out, though, that so Lineker, all this stuff was contract, though, that bare minimum, you had to have a 5-star hotel, first class flights if necessary. And he insisted he always had to have this every February time, a traditional trip to Barbados. And with the paperwork, this was either signed by Lineker himself or it was his agent, a man by the name of John Holmes, featured clauses in which the 60-year-old former England striker promised to use his best endeavours to promote, to develop, and expand the business of the first party, the broadcaster, and its interests generally. I imagine a lot of that, what would entail, would be, I'm guessing a large part of that would be like retweets. Al Jazeera would have an official Twitter account. He would retweet things from his personal account. But then I don't know. Did Lineker end up holding up his end of the bargain? Did he end up doing everything he could, his best endeavors to promote, develop the business of the broadcaster? Did he? Or was he just happy to take the money? Did deep down it always kind of bother him about the whole thing about Qatar, but he was just happy to, do this thing and, get, leverage, get the deal he wanted, get the money. I don't know. But it seems he had no problem doing business with these guys. And I guess it's just one of those things that, everybody's got a price, like the $1 million man Ted DiBiase used to say. And there was the Mail, this is from the Mail here, Daily Mail, had obtained an email exchange between Mr. Holmes' agent and Al Jazeera. This was from July 2012. The agent suggested a 4-year extension and this extension would be worth 3.5 million would be considered. He added that further 3 years, if they became a UK broadcaster, the Premier League rights could be added as an agreed option. Now, some people might say this was just the agent doing what they do. Agent's gone agent, and they're always thinking of what they're going to get out of it, their cut. Or you could say that very much Lineker, his agent, this is what I want. These are the terms. So let's face it, Gary Lineker, all this drivel that he spouts, all the virtue signaling, making it feel like it was terrible. It was such a bad thing about Qatar hosting the World Cup. In the end, though, he made the choice. He went on the plane to Qatar, as did Alex Scott, as all the other bloody presenters that will do their little thing about their little shtick about pretend to care about the little guy or whatever, or groups that are supposedly oppressed and all that good stuff. That's that's the game. You know what I mean? It's all an act. It's all bullshit. Can you believe any of these fuckers are genuine? It's just they do the end thing. You know what I mean? Alex Scott didn't have a problem posing with Vladimir Putin. A lot of people had doubts about Putin back in 2018 time. There's quite a lot of people, I think, in the UK would say he was a dictator. I'm not saying if he is or he isn't. He probably is a bully and a very ruthless guy. But again, Putin, I believe in there could be, there's definitely some nuanced points about the whole what that's been going on. But Lineker didn't give a shit. He didn't give a shit. And I think most people know he doesn't really give a shit. Anybody that does must be a bit, quite frankly, an idiot if they think he really believes all the things that he's saying. He's bad. He's so sanctimonious, and he comes off like quite just patronizing, just like not a good guy. But this is the guy though that they all worship. Like, see, they worship him, right? I mean, the whole look at this from a year and a half ago on the BBC. Lineker stays on the top of the BBC list of what you get paid. And looking at it from it here, you maybe be surprised that these guys that you think certain people would get paid more. So Lineker gets paid 1.35 million, about 3 times more than Match of the Day analyst pundit Alan Shearer. He's on 450,000 a year. Zoe Ball makes quite a lot. To me, Zoe Ball hasn't been in the limelight for about 20, 25 years. Zoe Ball was known as the wife to me of Fatboy Slim, because I'm quite into house and DJ stuff. But she makes money 988,000 a year. And I'm not begrudging people getting your money because I'm about hustling. But Shearer's only on 450,000 a year. And Gary Lineker's making 1.35 million. And Shearer will be making money from other stuff. And I'm guessing he's an ambassador of Newcastle United. After dinner speaking is pretty lucrative. So Shearer's good in the pockets. You know what I mean? Shearer's good. Yeah, hi, Tony. How are you, mate? Julia Cass, good to have you on. I don't know if you did you just hear me waffling on, Tony? I don't know at what point did you join. I'm just looking at all these fuckers, all the money they're getting. Stephen Nolan. Who the fuck is Stephen Nolan? He's making 415,000 a year. Hugh Edwards, 410,000 a year, or was making that. Fiona Bruce, 410,000 a year. Fuck her. She's a bitch. Vanessa Feltz, 400,000 a year. She's still with the BBC, or did she get canned? I don't know. Graham Norton dropped off the list entirely after he left his Saturday Radio 2 show in December 2020. But yeah, I mean, he's the highest paid guy in the BBC, and does he really deserve it? With all the fucking shit that he gives them, and like the lack of respect, it's like they're not asking much from you, Gary. It's just that thing about the impartiality thing, which is all bullshit in itself. But it's just like, come on, man, play the game. They're paying you 1.35 million a year. There's got to be a bit of give and take. But you're at it all the bloody time, man. you what you were doing about the whole thing about saying that the Tories rhetoric was like 1930s Germany. It's like, come on, man. Come on. I'm no fan of the Tories, but don't start creating that idea. Okay, he didn't directly say it, but like Tories, 1930s Germany, the Nazis, like, come on, man. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. Well, Hugh Edwards has currently been suspended right now. You know what I mean? I think it was not just was it not a suspension, Tony, or did Hugh Edwards actually get the sack? But like the virtue signaling from this guy is just too much, isn't it? It's just too much, and it's he's been exposed multiple times. Let's face it, with Gary Lineker, he's not going to be bringing in a refugee into his home. Gary Lineker won't, you know, if he does go to one of these protests, whatever it is, pro-Palestine, feminist rally, a Marxist rally, socialist rally, whatever the hell it is, he'll probably be there with security guards. He won't just be there himself and amongst, the commoners. uh, you know, he's just a fake, total see-through guy. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. And he just couldn't stop with the bullshit virtue signaling. He obviously feels a certain way, which is fine if you want to be, if you side of Palestine, whatever. But the whole thing, Israel, Palestine, like choosing a football side, it's just ridiculous. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, though, Gary, October 7th, what happened, what Hamas did, and you didn't condemn it, you stayed silent. That should say something right there. You know what I mean? That should say something right there. Palestine, Israel. I'm not picking a side, but like it's, and all of a sudden, people who probably didn't give two shits about Gary Lineker before now, like people in the Muslim community, all of a sudden, like, oh, we've got Gary's back now. We're on team Gary Lineker. It's like, how fickle and pathetic are you fucks? You know what I mean? This guy, again, Palestine, again, it's just the virtue signaling. That's all it's about. You know what I mean? But have some balls then. I mean, if you want to be critical of what Israel are doing, straight up be critical about what they're doing. Don't just like something or repost something. Like, have a backbone then. But Gary Lineker is smart though. He's more subtle about what he does and what he, puts out there. So he won't say, oh, this is, this shit is like with the Tories is like Nazi Germany. But he'll say, oh no, the rhetoric that they use is not that different from rhetoric that was used in Germany in the 1930s. So, there's an out for him if people think, hang on a minute, I don't like the Tories, but that's a bit extreme. You know what I mean? That's a bit extreme saying comparing Tories to Nazis. But there's that, plausible deniability on his part where he can say, oh no, you took that the wrong way. I worded it this way. But it's smart on his part. He knows what he does with things, with his semantics that he uses. He's a sharp guy, smarter than he lets on. That's for sure. All right. Yeah, Leticia. Hear about that soon. Oh no, good. I appreciate that, Tony. Thanks for that, mate. It's funny, Tony. Yesterday I was debating on what to talk about. It was either going to be Lineker or it was going to be Nicola Sturgeon. And I don't know, because I'm not super big in politics. I just know Sturgeon is not somebody I like. And I was thinking, am I going to either do it on Sturgeon or Lineker? And in the end, I got it was late into the night and I'm just like, screw it. Let's talk about Gary Lineker. I wanted to go on a bit of a rant about him and get it off my chest. Both, yeah, I could say things about both of them. You know what I mean? But it's just like, let's just get it right out in the open. When it comes to these virtue signaling tossers, a big fuck you to Gary Lineker and a big fuck you to Nicola Sturgeon. See that? Fuck you, Sturgeon. Fuck you. Lock her up. She's broken the law. That's, to me, well, don't treat her like you would treat everybody else, sling her in the jail, But she will be totally treated differently, you know what I mean? This stuff goes to like, court proceedings and what have you. You know what I mean? She's gonna be treated differently. That's just how these things go, right? Yeah, I know. But it's like they're professional liars though, Tony. They're professional liars. You've got to be a certain type of personality to go in that world, right? You really got to be a certain type of personality. It's not for everybody that world, isn't it? Is it? But are you a football guy, Tony? Are you a football fan? I take it you probably kind of are, right? If you, I mean, you're aware of you know who Matt Letitia is, right? And right, right, right. Aye, and I think I don't know if you saw my video yesterday, right? You know, it, it's quite the same freaking people are pundits and the same freaking people, and it's that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they've got their little cliques, you know what I mean, and their circles they roll in, and it's the same people, and they're kind of like gatekeepers. You know what I mean? It's like this idea that like Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher are so brilliant at their job that they could never be replaced. But when Liverpool last year thumped the Man U 7-0, Gary Lineker couldn't even admit that Liverpool played well in the game. You've beat a team 7 fucking nil, and this twat, this utter twat of a man, could not even admit that the other team played better because he played for Manchester United. And the whole thing about, oh, Man U hates Liverpool, one of the biggest rivals. And it's like, you're supposed to be neutral, mate. That's your job as a pundit, to be neutral. Don't like it. Yeah, but the thing is, they don't like each other, Tony, but they've got a lot more in common than they'd probably care to believe, right? They're both kind of the same. It's like their opinion's gospel, right? And, give Neville slight bit of credit. He can make some okay points and stuff I'll agree with on at times, right? But um, I mean, again, some of the ridiculous shit that Carragher comes out with, saying last season that Haaland, this is the wrong team. Man U was the wrong team for him. This wasn't the team that was going to get the best out of Erling Haaland. Ridiculous, right? And the fact that like there wasn't like all the production people, the presenter, all the other pundits on the show just didn't burst out laughing at that statement alone. It's like, come on. But you know what? Jermaine Genius, he can replace Gary Lineker tomorrow. He can replace Lineker tomorrow. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. People can shut at him. He would make a better presenter, more tolerable in my book. I don't know. Maybe there's a big petition that's been signed to like they'll put to the BBC, Tony, to get rid of Gary Lineker. You know how it can be with these petitions, though. They can only go so far, right? But yeah. Well, maybe the end is near for Gary, Tony. Maybe. Basically, the Republican nominee, though, right? It's going to be either Donald Trump or Nikki Haley, right? Really a voting for lesser two evils type thing there, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Yeah, adverts are a pain in the arse, of the Tony. Aye. So this thing with Matt Letizia, Tony, is it kind of just like a friend of a friend who knows him or something? What's the exact like connection? All right, that's fair enough. Uh, friends in high places, huh? That'd be good. God, if I ever got the chance to speak to him, probably a bit side of me that'd be a little nervous, but it'd be God. That'd be good though. I think if he sees my videos, he sees what everything I'm saying spot on about Lineker. I mean, I probably don't articulate myself quite like Matt does when speaking the truth, but we're both our truth, our quote, but people say our truth, my truth, quote unquote, our truth is um very much the same. I feel with most things. So there's the game on tonight. I totally forgot about the game, um, Tony. Brighton Wolves 0-0. I'm taking it I've probably not missed much, right? Brighton goes seventh in the league. Had a goal difference with Man U. Hmm. It's still very tight though. Things could you never know how things could go. Do you know how many Rangers Dumbarton, Tony? From the other night, right? I think I know what you're trying to say. It's not what you know, it's who you know, huh? That is true. Um, yeah, Dumbarton, yeah. So Rangers won in the end 4-1. Can't say that was a huge surprise. It's Celtic that beat Bucky Thistle 5-0 yesterday. Bucky Thistle, you talk about amateur team, Highland League, they were never going to be able to go toe to toe with Celtic, you know what I mean? But just for them, it was an accomplishment to get out and to play at Parkhead. So fair play to Bucky Thistle, you know what I mean? Once in a lifetime experience. What experience, but fair play. Fair play to them. Aberdeen though, we're probably like the lowest in our next Leagueish Cup game against Bonnyrigg Rose, Tony. We've got them at home. That's probably the best tie we could have got. The lowest ranked league part, but in terms of the league, the lowest team down, and the in what's left in the cup. So we should be fine. We should be in the quarterfinal, no problem. Let's have a troll through Twitter. Let's see what people are saying about Gary Lineker, though. So this whole thing about Nikki Haley, right? Nikki Haley said that she grew up in the American South and she was teased every day for being brown. But again, I don't know. I barely pay attention to Nikki Haley. I think there's just something that kind of comes off a bit kind of, inauthentic as much as she wants to make out she's a person of the people. Um, but she's saying about teased every day for being brown. And Adam Brooks said, Nikki Haley has pulled a Gary Lineker move. For fuck's sake, you are not. So Lee Hurst, the comedian, he's trolling about this as well. In the cup, Anakin went well. Yeah, Tony. I mean, in the championship side, Inverness last year got to the final. So yeah, absolutely. So Joey Barton said, "Sorry, Lee. I went on the sunbeds when I was 22. I'm now classed as black as well." Oh me, oy vey, oy vey. Anybody can win. Anyone can win. You got to be in it to win it. What do you think of Scotland's chances though in the Euros, Tony? What do you think? How do you think Scotland could do? Is it just going to be the same old thing, the curse of not getting past the first round? Yeah. Well, we can do it. We can break if we can break the cycle, If we can break the cycle. I could recite some of the rap I did We Can Win, but I don't know if I've not got the energy right now to do so. So it's almost over. Looks like it's going to be 0-0, Brighton Wolves. But Gary Lineker, I mean, please do us a favor, BBC. just terminate this man's contract. Just you could have Alex Scott doing it every week. You could have Jermaine Genius doing it every week. I don't care. Anybody but Lineker at this stage, though, really. So Kendrick thought that Reasonable Doubt was better than the Illmatic album. This is a tweet from 2010. And he said, hashtag you can unfollow me now. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, I guess. Right. Nah, that's something, Tony. Yeah. There's definitely things that I can do, I know I can do to build the channel. I've got the potential, obviously. I know I do. I'm pretty good, consistent with doing content, and I know it's good. It's pretty good. It's interesting. Um, Sometimes I get that thing. It's like the voice in my head's like, "I'll leave the video. It can wait for later." And I was kind of that in my head yesterday, but eventually at the end, I think it was about 9 o'clock in the evening. I was just like, "No, I've got to do this video." So yeah, we could, if it was to get Matt Letizia on in an interview with him, Tony, that could be the start of something. That could be the start of something, quite big. That I could live without it. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like this thing, like I desperately need it. But it'd be good to talk to him, though. I'd want to talk to him. So what's Kanye up to now? What is Kanye up to? Kanye West is spotted arriving in a devilish ride with a 666 license plate. Sorry, for your reunion with ex Kim Kardashian at Suns Saints basketball game. I'm just thinking this guy, very religious guy, but he's got a 666 on the license plate. I'm in these license plates. He's got a private reg, right? So I don't know what's up with Kanye. He has his struggles, There's times where he does make a lot of good points. He makes a lot of good points, you know what I mean? He's a good, he means well. And then some of the fucked up shit he says, though, at the same time, it's like, come on, man, But He was, he was diagnosed as bipolar. That's no joke. But just when you're saying all this stuff, Hitler's a good man. It's like, come the fuck on, man. And he supposedly been saying these things for a very long time too. Duocast, are you around? Did Duocast just wander off, Tony? Where's Duocast? Hello? Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo. Was he gone? So it looks like Brighton Wolves. That's going to stay a goalless draw. Not always we get all the eggs on at the same time, Tony, but Maureen's one I can count on. I keep in touch with her quite a bit. Sometimes try and at least a message a day or a message every 2 days. Cara is quite good and reliable. Sometimes she could be on the very second I start the live stream. Lenny's quite a good one as well. A couple of others, there's John and Paul and Paul hasn't been on for a while though, but get so many of these fake things that come through, just with Twitter and fake poster accounts and whatever fake accounts that follow you. The bots, as they say, the bots. Seems though this thing with Saudi Arabia is not working out though, Tony? The Saudi Football League. Jordan Henderson's gone to Ajax. Benzema wants to leave. A couple of others want to leave, This maybe is kind of like how kind of like things played out with the China Super League, Just isn't going to work. Josh Phillips. Agents, man, Well, a lot of these probably maybe young teen guys, they might be thinking, God, now screw it. I want to be an agent. They're the guys that are making big, big, big dough, Is it over? Brighton Wolves? Is that it over? 0-0. Final score, Brighton Wolves. So you think you'll hear back from this guy soon, though? If it was any, there'd be a possibility of maybe getting Leticia on, Tony. You'll hear back soon, yeah? because that would be good. Like that would be good. That'd be a really good, interesting conversation to have. Right, great sound. That's good. Excellent. Thank you. Really do appreciate it, mate. You'll have to come on here sometime and we'll chop it up, Tony. We could maybe do one on Sturgeon and we could talk shit about her, you know. Maybe that would be. Oh, that's no problem. I'm not expecting a lot, you know what I mean? You know, fair play to you. Thank you. That is I appreciate the efforts. Um anytime, mate, anytime. Right. Okay. Sometimes I just have to do these live streams on later, Tony, just to get more of a crowd. But I'm maybe just going to start wrapping this one up. Um, I'm probably better off when I'm doing them when I get the time is starting them out about 8 o'clock, and that's when I get more of the regulars come on. But I think I'm just going to start wrapping this up now. But I appreciate you coming on, Tony, tonight, mate. Really do. Thank you. Duocast, you came on earlier. Thanks a lot, mate, for coming on too. Always appreciate it. But with this though, I think I'm gonna. I don't know when my next live stream will be. Maybe tomorrow. I'll see how things go. If not tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I'll try and do it a bit sooner. Yeah, you too, mate. Lanny, Tony, take care. I say Lanny because I'm so used to having a Lenny on. Sorry, Tony. Take no offense, but yeah. So my plan will probably be if it's not tomorrow around 8 o'clock a live stream. I'll probably do it Wednesday. Yeah, apologies again, Lenny. Tony, sorry, I'm fucking bad with names. I'm really bad. I cock up names a lot. Sorry, Tony. I apologize. But yeah, so maybe Wednesday around 8ish. Expect me to do a live stream then, and maybe it'll be about Sturgeon. I'll see how things go. But thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate everybody who hopped on, saw the live stream. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.